and welcome, FFFU members. This is another brand new podcast, the second one of our month, and I'm here today with Angel Bless and myself. Man, I'm smart.
Hello everyone, here's Angel Bless. Well, I wanted to apologize for not being able to be here last month. I had some troubles and I had to move out from my house, but luckily I'll be able to be with all of you the next upcoming month. So,
Yes.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Smart. It's good to be here.
Indeed, we had some trouble planning this. We were supposed to have Dreadlord and Balmain with us today. Would have had a 4-person podcast actually, but unfortunately they had some personal things to do, some assignments to get done, so they couldn't be with us. But we do have the Grand Union leader here of this great union, so hey, it's better than anything, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're going to be using our agenda here, and the first thing on our agenda is, before I even start the agenda, actually, I want to let everyone know that we do have a new segment in this podcast that is called Fanfare Reward. And basically what a Fanfare Reward is in this segment is when you hear a Final Fantasy Fanfare Victory theme, which is the little battle victory song you hear after you beat a monster or whatever. When you hear that, that means a question is going to come up. When we tell you this question, you can leave your answer in the comments and you will get experience, gil, and AP towards your FFFU fantasy stats. So pay attention to that sound and we'll give you the question. So let's start off with the latest news on the Union. Angelus, would you like to tell us the latest news? What is the first thing we have?
Okay, we're gonna start from where the last podcast ended, so we will go first with Final Fantasy 14 Q&A and live video, right?
Correct.
Okay. It seems that fans are very curious about which new improvements will Final Fantasy 14 is going to have with the latest patch, the 1.1.19, right?
Yes, it's a brand new idea and patch they actually made recently, and many of the fans were concerned because the game was really bad. As we mentioned in our last podcast, we even had a video showing you the first few minutes of the game, and recently there's been a lot of questions and answers with the director and with the producers of the game and videos where there's interviews, and we're basically seeing that the game is being improved every now and then, trying to get the fans happy. So if you're interested in the Final Fantasy 14 game, if you want to know the improvements, you can look at our Q&As. I believe we have one on November 7th here, and there may be some other ones throughout the Union updates. Angel Bless, have you tried Final Fantasy 14?
I haven't tried yet. I'm not too much in the MMORPG games, so I didn't have time to test it. I read some reviews about the game, especially from GameSpot. There were some serious flaws in the game mechanics and all the locations, the missing chocobos, the airships, and many other things that actually do a Final Fantasy game, right? So I really hope this patch really improves the game, but it's like they are making a new game, right?
Yes.
So hopefully it will be good for every Final Fantasy fan, right? Did you test it? Did you try it?
Actually, I did not try it. I saw videos, I saw reviews, I saw stories, I saw screenshots. I saw a lot of outside material, outside information, but I didn't want to try it because I was so afraid that it's going to be so bad that it's going to waste my money, so I stayed away from it. But now that it's improved, I might just, give it a try if there's like a free trial or something, or that I can try it for free or something like that. I'll try it just to see how it is, or maybe even rent it or something like that.
Yeah, it will be good to have a look at it. and to compare between both versions, right? Hopefully
Exactly.
there will be some news with improvements of the new patch, and we will be able to see how did the game turn out, right?
Exactly. Our next piece of information is the PSN. If you have a PS3, you're in luck. We have plenty of Final Fantasy coming to you, as Final Fantasy 6, I believe, was scheduled for December 6th. I don't know if it's out already. I haven't checked the PSN, but make sure to check the PSN, because Final Fantasy 5 and Final Fantasy 6, along with Chrono Cross, have been released or will be released in the coming days. It seems like many of the Final Fantasy games are coming to the PSN, which is a really good thing, as we saw with the Final Fantasy X Remake HD in our boards, in our forum, that a lot of people were excited for that, including me, because I like that game very much. So
Yeah,
with trophies is perfect.
with trust and the option to be able to play it on PlayStation Vita is a great add to the Final Fantasy experience. I mean, I don't know if they are thinking, but that just came out to my mind. If they are thinking some kind of experience between the PS3 and the PlayStation Vita, like Metal Gear Solid HD collection. I mean, like the transferring thing they were talking. Do you think that will be possible? I mean, play Final Fantasy X on the PS3 and then transfer your save data to the PS Vita and continue your progress. That would be
Indeed.
cool, right?
Yeah, that'll be really awesome right there. So yeah, make sure to check the PSN. We are still awaiting for that remake to hit the PSN. I don't think there has been a date released yet for that though. Our next piece of news here we have is if you're interested in Type 0, not Type O, what am I saying? Type 0, Final Fantasy Type 0, they have a new comic book or manga type of style released. So you can see that on our homepage. It's on November 12th. They have a new little manga series there. Some nice pictures there. I believe some of our members like that very much. I haven't really looked into it that much, but it looks pretty cool from the way I'm looking at it here. We also have the behind the scenes up from the first podcast. I believe some of you already saw that. So you want to see that, go ahead and watch the behind the scenes. And much talk. There is an immense amount of news from Final Fantasy 13-2. Plenty of news. A ginormous amount.
Yeah, lately there has been a lot of news regarding Final Fantasy 13 too. And I believe this is one of the first time we have so much info about one game. I mean, so much spoilers too, because we have heard so much about the story, the characters, even the world, how will everything will be related, the time space thing. I mean, there's a lot of info regarding Final Fantasy 13 too. I believe Square Enix is trying to fix any problem they had with Final Fantasy 13, and maybe releasing a better version, a more fan-oriented version of Final Fantasy 13, right?
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing too.
Yeah, and I believe they have so much hope in this game, so hopefully it will be a great game.
Yeah, we have plenty of information on that. If you're interested in the Crystarium or gameplay footage, we have information about the Crystarium. It's much similar to the leveling up system that was in the original Final Fantasy 13 game, so get ready for that. We also have footage from the gameplay combat. There are two versions to play. There is an expert version and an easy version. I believe there's two versions. So when you're battling monsters, get ready. You can pick two sides. You can pick an easy road and a hard road. And we have special footage from the game on one of our most recent updates. We also know that Final Fantasy 13-2 will be shorter than the original version, which is not necessarily a good thing, but what are fans going to say about that?
Well, I don't know if they will like a shorter game. I mean, Final Fantasy 13 wasn't such a long game either. I mean, you have like 10 to 12 hours straight until you reach one part of the story, but I don't think that will be a good point for the fans. You know, but I read somewhere, I remember reading somewhere that Final Fantasy 13 2 will have less CGI cutscene, right?
Yes.
So that will make the game fit one Xbox disc, right?
That's correct. So only because it may just be that shorter because the CGI has been cut out. So necessarily the gameplay is not shorter, it's just that we have less cutscenes, which is a good thing. We get more time to play and not as much, movies here and there.
And it's something I believe that Square Enix is focusing to, because they are cutting, if you can say that, the CGI cutscenes from Final Fantasy Versus 13, right? They are transforming the CGI into real-time scenes. So maybe Square Enix is focusing on less CGI cutscenes and more oriented, environment-oriented games, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct. We also have a word on the trophies. So if you're interested in the trophies for the game, you can check that out. That is on our homepage. And also we have the opening CG and plenty of interviews and hands-on previews of the game. On November 24th, news update, you can look there. We have a developer interview, hands-on preview, and the opening CG for the game. Plenty of DLC also. Assassin's Creed was the latest one that is going to be featured for DLC. It's been a lot of DLC for this game. Is that necessarily a good thing that there's so much DLC?
Well, particularly, I'm not a fan of DLC. I believe some industries, some developers are making, I don't know, are rushing into a game, making it very, very fast, and they kind of sell the things that were supposed to be inside the game, and that's not really good. I believe that the DLCs should be oriented to new content that will improve the game, the gameplay, and the replay value of the game, but not include things that should be included in the game, that you should open in the game. I mean, like weapons and other things that, I don't know, I'm not really so sure if that's a good point for games, but well, let's see.
Yeah, and I'm not too big of a fan of DLC either, especially after I've already bought your game. Now I have to buy a bunch of DLC too. So it's kind of a good bad thing. Pros and cons. Good things are that you have some extra content that's fun to play with, but then again, the bad stuff is that you're gonna have to use some more money with the purchase of the original game. We also have a video archive from one of our members, Falcon084. He took some time to put together an archive of Type 0 and Final Fantasy 13-2 videos for you, I believe since the start of the entire production. So if you've been missing out, and if you've been lazy, like one of our members, WSG Random Person, as he stated in one of the topics, that he was lazy, and this news update really helped him because there's all the videos and all the information all in one spot. So if you've been missing out, look on November 26th, and you'll have all the information there. Now, that's basically all we have for Final Fantasy 13-2.